All right. Episode 75 of the Morse Code Podcast. I'm Pete Priep. Dan Morse is here with me. And somehow we were able to get the three biggest names in Boston sports all together in one virtual room because we've got Michael Felger here. How we doing, Felgy?
What's up, Soapy? How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good, man.
That actually brings me to my first question, which is, I think I asked when we had Lift Chats on, we asked him something similar about callers, which is, do you remember when I called in? I know you get fucking millions of calls, but it was Red Sox World Series 2018. I called and asked if you knew during a parade, where do you take a poop? Do you remember that question?
I don't.
Okay. I thought Mazz jumped on that one more than the other guys. Seriously, if I remember it correctly.
I think Mazz and Murray said like wear a diaper because otherwise you're out of luck. So I was just curious.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Anyways, Felger, Felger obviously joins us from the biggest show in Boston sports, Felger and Mazz, 98.5 Sports Hub. Second question. What is the weirdest, like, I mean, you guys, we were talking about this off air right before we started recording, but it sounds like you get a ton of fan mail or email rather. What is the weirdest or most memorable interaction you've had with a fan, either on the street, someone saw you crossing the road, something like that?
Easily. I'm not going to give you the name. But there was a girl who would email me. She had problems, I think. Or it was a dude calling himself Mary or what, I can't remember the name. But oh, I love your bulge today. Oh, that bulge is tremendous. I don't know, maybe our seats used to be a little high and you could see the top of our pants, behind the desk or something. But oh yeah, Felger, show me that bulge. Oh, that bulge. It was pornographic about the bulge through my jeans. And then she was chronic. It was like it went on for 2 years. And
very weird.
Yeah.
From like a certain angle of how you guys were on TV, or is this someone you saw in real life?
Sometimes
the camera hits. Sure.
You could, you just the bulge. She was like, and it was pretty repetitive, but it's like, bulge looking good today. How's that bulge? Oh, the bulge just hit me right in the eye today. Like this tremendous bulge. Give me that bulge.
Yeah. Sounds like a compliment to me. I don't know.
I wasn't offended. I understand why women get offended or treated as sex objects and whatnot. And like, I could see it. I felt a little dirty every now and then, but for the most part, I was okay with it.
I assume you just kept buying the same jeans over and over again.
I started lifting my seat up a little bit in the chair. Yeah. Give the audience what they want.
One size down and one chair length, one chair height up. Winning formula.
What about in person, just like running into people? Do people notice you a lot? Because I feel like if I saw you in, I don't know, fucking Back Bay or something, I wouldn't give you the finger, but I'd give you a piece of my mind.
Oh yeah, no, for the most part, people are friendly, for sure. But every now and then, it's like there's a good one. I'm walking with my daughter, my 8-year-old daughter, hand in hand on Newbury Street.
How dare you?
Hey, Felger, right? Hey, Felger. Be like behind me. I turn around. You fucking suck,
Yeah.
With my 8-year-old daughter, but that is what it is. And every now and then it's like, hey, Felger, EEI's better. That sort of stuff. But for the most part, people are really nice. And how often it happens depends where I am. Like, if I walk through a Bruins game, there's going to be quite a bit of it. If walking down the street, no. I mean,
Well,
I was just gonna say real quick. You hear that all the time. Like, people say, everyone says all this stuff on Twitter and everything, but you're not going to go up to that person in real life and reiterate what you call them on Twitter. You know what I mean?
It's hard. And thankfully, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't read it. But of course, I don't hold that against. Right. I don't hold that against a Twitter person either. It's like that's human nature. Like we'll on the radio show, we'll sit there and rip, Bill Belichick for 4 hours and just lay into him. But if you were sitting right across the table from me, there's no way you would say the same things. I mean, that's just sort of human nature.
Well, I think even more with athletes. I might say on Twitter, like, I don't know. Hey, Khalil Mack, you suck. I'm not gonna go say that to his face if I ever run.
Oh no! And seriously, like, oh,
yeah.
Good game, Khalil. Good job. Like, of course.
That's how it goes.
Everybody does that. So that's not just Twitter trolls. That's human nature.
I was gonna say you could yell back to the guy yelling to you about EEI being better, but I don't think he'd be able to hear you unless he had his hearing aids in, because it's
a little bit of an older audience. So.
Yeah. Question about with the Super Bowl coming up. Are you guys going to be out there for Super Bowl week during like media row and stuff?
I just found out yesterday for sure that we're not. They actually looked at it, which I'm stunned. I thought it would have been a instant no, but the word that we got is that you couldn't have any access to anyone really.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the whole point to be there is Radio Row and have, even though Felger and Mazz, we even try to stay away from guests there. But the whole point is, to interact. And apparently you would have access to know people, certainly not live, maybe via Zoom, but you could do that from home. So what's the point of being in Tampa? And you had to wear masks the whole time. And so it was a little too restrictive, but we did look at it.
Yeah. It looks like it'd be more of a hassle than a benefit, but
I would be in no rush. I would be in no rush to go to Tampa, Florida right now, or in like the next month or so. That's just me. Go ahead. So,
no, the reason I bring it up is because I really wanted to know about a few years ago when you guys were in Minnesota, and I remember like you were was that the Mall of America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about number one, like those accommodations compared to the usual, and number two. Was that the year that you guys, I assume you guys show up hungover on certain days. So give us some stories that you can't tell on TV.
Well, I think I told them on the radio. I just, Tuesday night is sort of like a green light night. That's the night we sort of, there's a media party that night, and sometimes we go to it, sometimes we don't. But it's sort of like, I don't know why that's just become the night, but it has. And I'm a fucking lightweight, I like to think I can drink, I like to think I can party. I used to be able to, but now I look at it and go, not even really. I couldn't even really back when I was young. I'm not a good drinker. And especially when I get a little weed in me, whether it's, well, any kind of weed. So then we go out with Murray, who's like the weed fucking doctor, if he hands it to you, man, don't take it. Cause he's probably tolerance is so high. Everything that he takes is freaking lethal. So never mind a guy that, smokes or takes an edible maybe a handful of times a year at most. Like that's the extent of my partying and my drug use nowadays is maybe a handful of times a year. So I have no tolerance. So I take something that he gives me and it's like, and then I drink a little and it's just, so those Wednesdays are authentic. There was a bad one in Minnesota. The worst one was the next year. I can't remember where the fuck we were. Where we were the next year after that. Jesus, all blends together.
It was Houston, wasn't it?
Yeah, no. So it was probably Houston. So Minnesota was the Eagles.
Houston, yeah. And then what was after the Eagles? It wasn't the Patriots. Oh yeah, it was Patriots Rams, right?
So was that Houston?
I think so.
Wherever the hell.
Superdome or Houston?
No. Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
it's in Atlanta. Okay.
Which is like Murray's backyard. So on top of all of his freaking high dosage, shit, he takes me to his backyard where he knows all the ins and outs and all the places I shouldn't go to. And so like, yeah, those are legit. I'm prone to hangovers. So
gotcha. So should that be just a common assumption? Like not only you guys, but the Wednesday morning, just sports talk radio across ESPN, Fox, you guys, is everybody just fucked up the night before?
Yeah, maybe, but that's just our day. I
right.
Yeah, you're for me, for anyone, that's the one business trip of the year. So
true. That's fair.
That's the one time you're out and away with the family and you can do it. And you're usually in a pretty good location or warm location anyway. And so yeah, it's a tradition. It's an annual tradition.
So that's a good point. So with that being said, like going back to Minnesota a couple of years ago, was that one of the worst weeks you guys had as far as accommodations, weather?
It's just so they've done a really good job. Most of the radio rows are in a big, huge convention space, so they can spread you all out. They can keep the people. They do admit fans to sort of walk around, but it's really on the periphery, and it's all sort of cordoned off and secure. And relatively comfortable. You're literally walking through the fucking food court to get to little areas where they have the tables. And early in the week, there weren't a lot of people there, so it was manageable. But by the time you got to Thursday, Friday, there were just throngs of people. Yeah. It was really unsafe. Like, not just like, who cares about talk show hosts? Oh, wham. So we were crowded, big deal. Like, no one cares about that. But they do take the security very seriously. And it was a big, giant, soft target, because they did not have metal detectors going into the mall or security really going into the mall. And usually to get into the media center at the Super Bowl, there's huge security just to get into the convention center itself. This was just sort of a wide open thing. And so I'm surprised they allowed it from a security standpoint.
Yeah. Reminds me of another security breach that happened in recent memory over the past couple of days, but we're not going to go into that.
Yeah, exactly.
My next question kind of transitioned a little bit out of that. So going back to the show, your show, Felger and Mazz, let me ask you this. I mean, you guys are clearly not the traditional Homer type of, radio show where you just, kind of kiss ass to all the four major sports. What do you guys, and I think we kind of asked Jones a similar question, who's obviously also in a similar boat. What do you find better radio, when the team is great, when the team sucks, when there's drama? What kind of works best for you guys, or what do you kind of like to do, I guess?
Sucks doesn't work long term. Fans think all the time we root for them to lose and we want them to lose, and it's just, boy, that just could not be more wrong. I mean, maybe on a selective night you want them to lose, because I'll say short term, a loss is easier than a win for sure. Okay, right? If the Celtics had lost last night, and we could rip on Marcus Smart for the shot at the end, or rip on this or rip on that, in the short term, a loss is easier. There's no doubt about it, for the next one, for one game, one day. But you put too many of those together and you're a losing team, no one gives a shit. And so like you can't. So no. You want the teams to be good and you want them to win in general. So that's it. And then I think not just win, but you got to have some sort of championship aspiration. Whether you think it's really realistic or not, there's got to be some hope that you've got a 1 in 50 chance or something, which I think the teams here still mostly do. I mean, I don't think anyone's winning anything anytime soon, but it could happen. The Bruins could go on a run. I mean, it's possible. Celtics are a really quality team. Maybe they're better than they thought. They've been to the East Finals 3 of the last 4 years. It could happen. I'd never be surprised if Belichick turns it around like that. So just the thought, be good enough that you can have just some sort of even outside chance of being a championship team. Okay. And that's what you want. And then you want some kind of drama or tension point. And even in victory, you can do that. Even in victory, you can do that. Yeah. So
yes.
All you want to do is want to go there. In the Celtics game last night, great win, great game. Celtics look good. Marcus Smart acted like a jackass at the end of that game.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. Who was that? Murray and Matt. It was on Twitter. I saw it. I'm sure you guys talked about it. Yeah. He was not mic'd up, but they caught him just. Yeah.
So what's good is that they won. Yeah. They look good.
Yep.
And if you want to, you can show up the next day and go, isn't Jason Tatum awesome? And oh my God, isn't Brown and Tatum are so awesome, and they're the most awesomest. This is a segment on NBC Sports Boston. Every Celtics segment is the same. It's like, I think Jaylen Brown is awesome. I think Jaylen Brown is awesomer. I think Jaylen Brown is the awesome. So you could do that, or you could spend your time poking at Marcus Smart for the way he acted at the end of the game, and we sort of choose that second thing.
Yes, and I think that's, like, to your point, more enjoyable to listen, at least in the short term. I don't want to hear it every day, but
more than fair.
Tune in. Yeah, more than fair. Let me ask you this. Speaking of sucking in local sports, we've talked about this on our show a lot. I'm just going to ask you kind of like straight up. All things considered, who do you think sucked more this year? Cam Newton or N'Keal Harry?
Newton. I mean, they both suck.
With all things considered.
Yeah, all things considered. Yeah. I mean, and I'll just say, because there was a time that Cam Newton could play, right? I mean, I know there's talent in there somewhere. And so I guess I'm grading them against themselves. I mean, maybe N'Keal Harry just can't play and they picked the wrong guy, and it's not his fault he blows. He just blows. Cam Newton one time could play. One time he could make plays. So I look at it and say, well, what happened there? I guess it's just more striking with Cam Newton.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know, not to beat a dead horse. We talk all the time. We're a big anti N'Keal Harry show. I think he stinks big time. And I think it's we had a good, the bad, and the ugly segment last time. And I think the line was, it's an insult to ugly people to put N'Keal Harry in the ugly category.
So what's amazing is he has no football instincts. Like he has
accurate.
No football sense, right? And it's like, you think if Belichick could scout one thing and one thing only, sort of, the guy's a football player or he's not a football player. I can see Bill passing on fast guys or tall guys or other things just because he's him. But are you a football player or not? Like I figure he would get that one. And I think N'Keal Harry just doesn't understand the sport, doesn't understand how to play the position.
I would agree. And you would think it was his rookie year this year.
Take.
No, it's just like, it's one of those athletes. We've talked about this before too. It's one of those athletes where I think local homers, and I think because he was the first round pick, first receiver taken, you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, all right, time's coming. It's coming. All right, 2 years. It's coming. 3 years this year. I don't think it's coming. I think this is N'Keal Harry, and I think he stinks.
I mean, after 2 years, can you know how to run a route? Like, I don't think the guy runs any routes. Like, you've had 2 years to figure out how to run a route at the NFL level. I don't think he does. I don't think he can. And then, these penalties out of nowhere. It's like, you didn't need to make that block. There's always that penalty out of nowhere. It's like, do you understand what you're doing out there?
more penalties than receptions is never a good stat at the end of a game.
No, that's in the analytics too.
But yeah, I'm going out on a limb. That's not a good one. That's not what the analytics guys are looking at. Yeah. Go ahead. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying, Felger, that basically he needs to find like another job, and he definitely like can't work in divorce court because he's not good at making separation. But do you think that, where would you rank him in terms of him, Kenbrell Tompkins, and Aaron Dobson? Because those three like really come to mind for me.
He's Aaron Dobson. Kenbrell Tompkins. Well, I mean, again, I guess I'm grading him against himself. Kenbrell Tompkins was an undrafted guy, right?
I think so.
I think you're right.
So, I mean, Kenbrell Tompkins, for what he was or what he was expected to be, carved out a little something for himself.
I remember him catching passes in games.
He made more plays than this guy.
Certainly. Certainly did.
That big touchdown against, was it New Orleans here at home?
Yep. Yep. Game winner. That was the big Poppy night too.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, N'Keal Harry had a night.
1-0. Yeah.
So N'Keal Harry. So I put Tompkins over N'Keal Harry, and he and Aaron Dobson are the same guy. Nothing.
Yeah.
Zero.
Harry.
I remember Aaron Dobson was known for dropping a lot of passes. I just don't remember a lot of N'Keal Harry targets. Like honest to God, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I haven't seen enough. I've seen enough to know he sucks, but I haven't seen enough to compare to other guys. The other one I remember, I think a lot of this was brought up because I think it was the Monday night game, some primetime game. They brought up that stat. It was Patriots players drafted in the last like 10 years. 8 of them weren't in the league anymore. The one that stood out to me was Malcolm Mitchell. I forget if he got hurt or whatever happened, but he was a quality NFL receiver, no?
Well, I liked him too, but he had a huge injury history coming out of college.
Is that what it was? I can't remember. Yeah.
So, and it came to fruition. It wasn't like his injuries were a surprise. I think you draft a guy like that and hold your breath that he'll get over him, and he never got over him. But he could play a little bit, right? He could snatch it, So that was one. And I think there's been some veteran guys that, while not grand slam home runs, like Brandon LaFell was perfectly serviceable.
Good call. Yep.
Get open, catch the ball. He had 70-something grabs, and fit into the system. And so Bill found that guy, and
he had some great games in the playoff run too. Like between the Baltimore game, he had, I think, the game winning, like what became the game winning touchdown catch, and then he had a touchdown against the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
And I think Brandon Lloyd, I mean, that's another one. I think he had a similar sort of year and a similar sort of role.
Yep.
Where you're not knocking your socks off, but fit the system, knew what Brady wanted, got the ball, and I'm just calling it up right now.
I'd give anything for guys who can fit the system, know the plays, and get open. And that's it. That's it.
That's
the criteria.
Brandon Lloyd only had 15 catches.
Yeah, he was a little under. Well, he was a bigger. He wasn't a draft pick, obviously, but he was a bigger. I forget if it was a trade or a signing. But that was one of the
he did more. But I mean, either way,
a guy like Chris Hogan, I would take Chris Hogan all day.
Amendola, LaFell, there's been little. Even Cooks wasn't a total disaster. I mean, disappointing, but not a joke. So I think Bill, when it comes to veterans, has a little bit of a clue. But the draft, forget it.
Good point. Yeah, the draft's a joke. That's what I was saying today. I don't know, and I didn't get to listen to much of the show today, but I don't know if you hit on the Deshaun Watson news at all today.
It didn't.
That he wants to trade. Do you see that coming to fruition at all? An opportunity with the Pats? You know,
too much fucking money, and then so to get. I mean, I'm sure they take him if he came.
Yeah, right.
They're still going to want a good deal. Like that's still in their DNA. They don't want to overpay, and when you overpay a guy like that, you're talking about 3 first-round picks and $35 million a year on the contract? No freaking way. I don't think it's realistic in the least.
You don't think there's any way that there's some sort of the way that Kevin McHale helped Danny Ainge out, where Caserio goes there and is like, Bill, I'll trade you, Deshaun.
Yeah,
gentleman shake.
I'll take the Herschel Walker trade. You're going to have to give him 3 firsts, but something like that. The equivalent of 3 first-round picks, probably a couple of players. And then when he gets here, he's a 3rd or 4th highest paid quarterback in the league. I don't know. I mean, I think Bill wants to be the highest paid guy down there. I just don't think it's realistic.
Yeah. I mean, I know the contract too, and I was looking at it today, and it was actually a little better than I thought it was. I think it topped out at like 35 or something 1 year, but he's also 25 years old. I feel like the more these guys get signed, that contract's going to look better and better, obviously. You know what I mean?
I guess. I don't know. I don't think they want to pay the quarterback that kind of money.
Yeah, I don't know. Because and I'm glad you mentioned at least what the asking price would be, like 3 firsts, something like that. Some of the stuff going online today, I saw, I don't know if it was a Minnesota beat writer or something, but he's like serious talks coming out about Kirk Cousins in a 1st rounder for Deshaun Watson, but the Texans are going to need to have to throw in a pick and this, and that. I was like, are you out of here? What? Yeah. Like, I think I was like, you have the audacity to offer Kirk Cousins 1 draft pick and ask for more than Deshaun Watson. Like, what are we doing? You wouldn't think this kid just led the league in passing yards and like all this other stuff.
These corners, Jalen Ramsey, and there was another one, Adams, the safety.
Oh, yeah.
They got 2 first-round picks.
Minimum 2-round picks. Yeah, that was the conversation.
So if you're going to get 2 first-round picks for a defensive back, you're going to get more for the quarterback, or you should.
Yeah, I thought I remember when Odell Beckham was on trade day, I thought the minimum asking price for Odell Beckham was 2 firsts, or we're not taking your phone call. It's
no,
like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Kirk Cousins, I think it's the 15th pick in the draft too.
I think that's an overpay for him. At that, there's a ton of receivers out there. There's not many receivers like Deshaun Watson, so it's different.
Yeah, good. So,
I mean, just like one last nail in N'Keal Harry's coffin, because we don't do enough of that on this show, which is not too many people remember that there was that play against the Chiefs last year during the regular season where, remember, his touchdown got called back.
Yeah.
Who knows? That could have been like the sliding door situation. Like if that had counted, maybe N'Keal Harry was on his way to Canton, and because that didn't count, here we are with a guy who's just wasting a roster spot. No.
I don't see it, no. Okay. If he gets in the end zone, he's going to learn how to run a route. I don't think so.
What I don't get is that the guy's like, what, 6'2", 220. I mean, he's like a pretty big, like, solid receiver who should get targets based on the fact that he should be able to get separation, but he can't. So he doesn't.
Big if, big but.
So, anyways, Felger, you've written 1 book, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was reading that. So Coach Belichick wrote the epilogue for it, and that came as a surprise to you. I was reading your thank you part again today.
Yeah. So I mean, it did. And not as big of a surprise as it would be now, where I don't need to take a piss on me if I were on fire. Like, back then I had a good relationship with. I was a beat guy, and so I was, I was on the program. I was, I was good to him. He was good to me, and so this was before. I can't remember what year that was written. 03, 04, something like that.
04. You can find it on Amazon too. $18.99.
Nice.
Oh no, I heard like 75 cents. But
maybe I was looking at an audiobook version.
Okay, there you go. So,
maybe looking at Bill Belichick's cameo.
So far, it's surprising for Bill to help a media guy out anyway. Never mind, right?
Yeah.
Which he actually wrote. He handed me the scratched out, written, the torn out notebook pages.
Yeah, he handed you a napkin.
That's pretty cool.
Exactly. And then he changed it like 14 times, which is just weird. But it's surprising. It'd be be, jaw dropping if he did something like that now. But that was before he got super huge, before the whole thing got super, super big. They had just won 2 championships, not even 3, and just got him at the right time. So it was really nice to do that, which is probably part of the reason he hates me like poison. It's like, I help this kid out, help him sell some books. I didn't have to write that thing. And now every time I turn around, he's fucking ripping me. So it's like,
what do you think it would take today for the, well, actually, before I get to that, how did it get arranged? Because I was wondering when you said that it was kind of a surprise, how was it arranged to begin with?
Yeah, I just asked him, or, Bear.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess I wrote in the forward that I was surprised just because.
I would be surprised. Fair.
It's just generically surprising to get an NFL head coach to write an epilogue for your book. That's just, I think that's probably rare.
Is there anything that you could do on the show where you think maybe Bill would do this for me again if I just blow smoke up his ass for the next 5 years on the Felger and Mazz show?
Well, you play ball with Bill, he'll play ball with you. But I think he also, once you cross him and once you're out, I think you're probably out. There's not too many cases of guys getting on his bad side and then all of a sudden, sometime later he forgives you and everything's okay. Mm-hmm. I think the road is littered with media guys who he had a decent relationship with and then swore off because fuck him. And then that's pretty much it. And I'm definitely in the fuck him category.
Safe to say you've gone at least a little bit down that road with him.
Meaning I'm out.
Yes.
Oh, I've been out for 10 years, 15 years. I've been out for a while. I didn't last long after that book. I'll tell you that, before I was on the OUT outs.
Because so do I have it right that Sports Hub started in 2009?
Mm-hmm.
And were you guys, was Felger and Mazz from day one too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I assume definitely from then, you wouldn't have had a shot.
Yeah, it was, and I think it was sometime even before that. When I still wrote towards the end, it's common, I wrote some things that he didn't like. So he didn't treat me so well, or he gave other people stories, or, whatever. I thought I got chipped on some stories, and that sort of creeps into your writing a little bit. Then you write something you shouldn't write, or you go take a little too far, and then he reads, he's pissed off at you, fuck him.
Yeah.
Someone else gets the story, you get a little, and it's a pretty common thing. It happened, and then, but the difference is with most beats and most people, you have a little cycle like that. Mm-hmm. And then you forget about it, you turn the page and you start over and it's fine. You just have those little back and forths. That happens. With Bill, it tends to be, spiral down, over, never again.
Yeah, I think if you did it with Brad Stevens, you'd have a shot to mend the fence.
Most coaches, I had some
Willikers.
When I covered the Bruins, I had some good ups and downs with Pat Burns.
Yeah.
There were days he fucking chased me out of the locker room. You just want to stir up shit. You just want to write about shit and stir up shit and sort of showing me up in front of other players. And I fucking hated it. But then there'd be days he'd bring me into his office because he'd want to rip on Mike O'Connell or the GM and, complain about the team he was given. And, off the record, he'd bring me into his office and I remember he pointed up at his board where he'd have the lineup, the lines and the defensive combinations, and their stats next to them, their plus minus ratings. And it'd be, at the time, I can't remember, Joe Thornton -10 and PJ Axelson -4 and Rob DeMaio -12. And, all these guys, he looked at me, he goes, look at this fucking thing they give me. A fucking golf tournament, he says. Look at this, minus this, minus that. Yeah. And he sort of confided in me and gave me shit to write. So that's more common, where you have good days, bad days, back and forth. And
that's normal human relationship.
Yeah, pretty much.
Normal way to put it. So I'm curious, with that being said, you seem to know about how Bill operates and how kind of easy it is to go one way to the other. He obviously makes, he has relationships where he makes regular appearances on shows and talks to certain guys like he doesn't talk to other guys. Why do you think that how do you have to treat Belichick, I guess, to be on that side of the equation?
So, excellent question. A lot of the guys that he goes on with that you would say are regulars are his buddies in the football world, Mike Lombardi or he's gotten friendly with the NFL Network guys. I think he's, he used to be close, probably still is with Mike Mayock. And so guys like that, Pat Kerwin, right? Mm-hmm. Pat Kerwin used to be with him with the Jets, I think. Mm-hmm. So connections like that. He went on Charlie Weiss's podcast or whatever. Charlie Weiss is his coaching colleague. So that's an obvious in, if you've got that sort of past with Bill, mm-hmm. He knows you're not going to fuck him over. You're not going to try and make him look bad. And, oh, by the way, there's a relationship. So Bill will go do it. Yeah. And then there's, if you're on the program media-wise, report what he wants reported, say what he wants, play ball with him media-wise. Or it's paid. The EEI, I think, is in his contract. And whoever the coach and quarterback is, I think they're required by their contract to go on that program. So that, so if you pay him or if you pay his foundation, I think he does appearances for, to promote his foundation or, things like that. That's another way. But I'd say it's mostly his buddies.
Do you mean as part of the radio's contract or part of Bill's like NFL contract to go on those shows? Contract. Oh, no shit. I didn't know that. Same with the players.
Because I think EEI has a setup. So like during his weekly spots on there, they come to him at Gillette. So EEI has like a little setup.
That doesn't count then.
I mean, the Patriots Monday and Friday thing is, the EEI pays the Patriots a rights fee to have that day. And there's players required to go on. The coach and the quarterback, I believe, have it in their contract that they have to do those specific media appearances. And there might be some arrangement where they get tickets or luxury box stuff or, club seats or something in that, but there's some sort of trade in there with those guys. So that's, Bill will do that one. Bill's required to do like the Sports Hub pregame show, like he has to do that.
Right.
But the things he's not required to do are buddies mostly.
Yeah. Gotcha. Let me ask you this. Do you think we kind of talked about this on one of our episodes last time? If you've ever heard Steve Belichick talk, Soapy mentioned last time, it's like Bill, it's little Bill for the most part. Do you think he's, not from a football coaching standpoint, do you think he's kind of going to be the next type of guy? Like just that narrative of I'm an asshole.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. I was gonna say, have you ever heard Nick Caserio speak? It's like a dead.
I don't know actually. Really?
Oh, he's doing a Bill Belichick impersonation. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
So, I think Steve Belichick's going to be the exact same way.
Okay. Looking forward to that.
No.
So last quick question from me. Going back to the show and going back to, we kind of talked about this earlier about, the market you work in and what's good for business. Could you, I don't know if not, could you see it, but if for any reason it happened, what other markets out there do you think you could see yourself having some fun with or thriving in throughout the country?
Doing would Felger and Mazz work in LA? Would it work in Orlando? Would it work in, I don't know. I doubt
that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I don't think so.
Work in the Midwest there. I'm from there.
Right.
They're not really, it's a little bit of a kinder, gentler experience. There's not many contrarians out there or rabble rousers in those places. So I think it's got, the Northeast is ideally suited. I think to our brand of radio. I don't think it would work everywhere in the country.
I don't either, especially a show that's so heavy on callers and typical repeat callers and masshole callers. That makes like a big part of the entertainment too, I think. And you guys play it off great, obviously.
Oh, but so that's a great point, Dan.
Yeah.
It's like, so you get
you don't even have to pay those guys. And no, sometimes some of the best entertainment.
And they're entertaining. Exactly right. And what does a LA sports radio caller sound like?
Who the fuck knows? Yeah, I don't know. I can't picture, use the term like, the phones are lighting up. I can't picture that in LA. I can't picture someone on like the LA freeway calling in to bitch about the Rams game or something because they're not, it's just weird. It's just a different.
Calling up in Kansas City. What do they sound like? It's Felger. You don't get, it's like they're that whole flavor, right? I think the flavor of the callers is a big part. I agree.
Actually, I do have one more quick point on that point. When did you, if you remember specifically, when did you make the groundbreaking discovery that the ideal position for your voice to come over on the radio is to hold your phone like a pizza?
Oh, that was Mazz's line. What a great line. What a absolutely brilliant. I mean, I don't know.
It's a sufficient way to call into a sports program show.
I think it started with me by saying, because it's how I when I talk to someone on my cell phone, I talk like this because I just golden rule, man. Treat others as you want to be treated. And when I talk to someone and they're speaking like this, and the phone's out here, there's some fucking thing dangling on their chin, I want to kill myself. Fucking text me. I'm not going to talk to you like this. So I'm sure I did this rant on the radio. I'm like, here it is. Talk like this. Put your speaker function on. Talk like this, and then Mazz, of course, pipes in. Hold it like a pizza.
This is a great segue. How are you doing with technology these days, Felger? Especially with the fact that like you don't have a fucking choice with. But by the way, like how do you guys decide? Because sometimes you're in studio, sometimes you're not. So how do you guys rotate that? What's that?
So now I've just decided to be from home because I did some travel, and so I want to quarantine. I mean, I've tested in quarantining, but we've been encouraged to spread out the office. So I think usually Beal and Zoe have someone at home, at least one person. I think Rich is still at home most days. So, every show has someone at home. Murray wants to come in. Mazz wants to come in. So I'm happy between the fact that I probably should be home anyway, because I've done some travel and that's fine. Someone needs to be home anyway. So I'm fine being at home. The quality of the show suffers like that. That does bother me. The little delay down the line gets clunky, and my voice quality isn't quite the same with my headset setup. And of course, I'm always doing something wrong. So there's a lag on the Zoom or something, so
that's a good point.
It suffers a little bit, but
well, I mean, I feel like just being in person, like physically, must cause some natural banter and stuff too that you probably don't get over. Yeah.
I mean, you see it here, right? Like you got to sort of, we step on each other or we talk over each other because you're not
it's a mess.
Talk or not. Like when you're in studio, that doesn't exist. So the quality of the show suffers a little bit, but this is what it is. This is the pandemic, so I'm staying home.
So you don't miss any of the office water cooler talk and typical cliche pleasantries?
Yeah, hey Mike, how was your weekend?
As you might imagine, I don't. It's not a bother because I'm not subjected to that.
Lucky man.
I walk into the studio at about 1:58 from my car. Perfectly. The car pulls into the parking lot around 1:55, 1:56.
Yeah.
I am straight up those stairs.
Yeah.
I don't go to the water cooler, and then at 6:01 I turn around and go home, and that's the people at Beasley and the building there, great. They're great folks. I'm just not a chatter. I'm not an office chatter.
You don't like to stick around for Zoe's like fart jokes or come in a little early, see if you can get one of those?
Zoe doesn't stick around either. Zoe, when I am pulling in at 1:55, he's usually on his way out, even though his show is still going on. He'll run out during the music.
Yeah.
But he loves to chat. Oh my God. In between every break, he's up all over the place talking to everybody. They've got a lot of social. Mazz knows everybody, what they do, what their names are, their story. He's a nice guy like that. He likes to talk to people, social animal. Beetle knows everybody. So just, different strokes for different folks. I'm sort of my own island.
Yeah. What have you thought? I guess this is my only other like pandemic related question, but what have you thought of the presentation of the NFL and the NBA? And I'm not talking about the bubble NBA, which I think Dan and I are on record as saying that was like a pretty good product, but the NFL without fans and now the NBA back in their home courts without fans. How do you think that looks?
I think
really?
You don't? Why?
I think the NBA looks like shit.
What do they do?
Not cover up the seats with those stupid ass banners. Not the title banners. Not the title banners are fine. But like if you look at, I don't know, who's the Celtics? I think their sponsor is Vistaprint this year. Like it just looks stupid. We know that there's no fans in those seats. You don't have to get that. Like you really have to get that extra advertising money in. You weren't going to get that anyways if the fans were in those seats.
I'm fine with it. They're losing so much revenue on the tickets that they got to get back. And so I'd sell the crap out of it. And I'm sort of with you, Soapy, in that originally I said, give me no fake crowd noise. Give me no superimposed fan. Just show me the empty seats. Show me what it is. And then, I don't know, I've seen a lot of games with just the empty seats. It was really baseball. Some stadiums had total empty bank of seats. And then some had fake fans or tarps. And it helped to have something back there other than just the empty seats. I think Fenway was one of them. And it's like, so the fake crowd noise I've even gotten used to. I think that's just sort of, I hated the idea of it to begin with, but that's just sort of the new normal. And is what it is. I've gotten used to that. And I'd say, I was really worried that because you had heard all these things about these pixelated fans and superimposed fans. Like Fox did it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Which is really corny. So they haven't really done that much. So
no,
I think they've made the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, I'm actually the way when I first heard, I think to your point, when I first heard artificial crowd noise, I imagined something. I pictured like dead silence and then a touchdown and then someone hits a button and you hear like crowds. But I think the NFL, the Patriots obviously had no fans all year. I didn't realize how like organic it seemed. Like it was like white noise, crowd noise throughout the game. And then when they score a little higher, whatever.
But it's like, I don't know if you saw Miami last night. Miami is, even with fans in the stands, is the worst game presentation place in the league. It's just so loud and so boing, boing, boing. It's just constant. You're just getting bombarded with nonsense, blaring music and constant.
2 minutes, dos minutos.
Yeah.
Miami was still doing that last night with no fans in the stands. Like it was obnoxious. Probably. So Miami is the worst. And so that bugs me. It's like, you want to get a little ambient cheer right there. That's a constant thing. Fine. No problem. But let's not get stupid.
Are those also the worst jersey / court concepts in the league right now? Cotton candy, Miami Vice. The NBA's gotten so goofy with their uniforms. Like all these teams reach into the choir, buddy.
Like 14 different uniforms, and every time you look at them, there's a different uniform, and it's like the whole league has cheapened the uniform thing. It seems like the Celtics and the Lakers and the Knicks or what? Just classic Where are your fucking classic uniforms? And what are you doing? There's just too many uniforms. Period.
Far too many.
You can't even tell who's home and who's road anymore.
Absolutely.
No clue. I don't even know what teams they are. Like they don't make any sense to the team. Some of them.
And they do it to sell them, but I mean, you guys are kids. Do the kids buy different jerseys? Is that really happening?
I can't afford them. They're $120 and they look like shit. So no, I don't have them.
You got to buy like 6 of them per team or something. Like who's got that kind of money? I don't know. I think they've saturated the thing.
Yeah.
Some would argue that's what the stimulus checks are for. So we'll see. $600. That's a couple of jerseys with shipping and handling.
There you go.
Seems like a good investment to me.
I know earlier you mentioned, Mike, that the bulge thing. Aside from that, do you watch yourself either for entertainment or to get better?
Yeah.
You do?
Sometimes. I mean, I should do it more. I do roll on the show every day, but it's very rare that I go here and punch up Felger and Mazz and watch. But they have the replay hour sometimes between 8 and 9 or 9 and 10. If I'm here and I run by it, yes, I will. And you will find, I don't know, you guys go back and listen to this. That
sometimes.
Yeah.
I have nothing better to do.
I enjoy watching and listening to myself.
Yeah.
So like that was
like it.
Felger, you sound good there. You look good there. Yeah. No, I mean, I do. And
that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's not, I don't understand why you wouldn't.
Frankly, I should do it more. I should do it more and critique myself more and, break it down more than I do. But I do some. I probably should do more.
New Year's resolution.
Yes, that's right. Watch more of me.
Genuinely, I was curious about it in terms of like the craft of it. But so that's interesting. You mentioned the crowds at Fenway, which I didn't have this written down, but you're a big Pearl Jam.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You've been in Boston for 30 years now? I feel like I should be your fucking biographer or something.
Yeah,
just like rattling off your information.
30 going on 33 years. I moved here in 88.
Have you thought about dropping R's from pronunciation?
I still don't even have a good Boston accent.
No.
I mean, I'm bad with voices. That's why we have Mazz and Murray.
Yeah.
What's the best concert that you've seen either at Fenway or just anywhere in Boston?
Pearl Jam had a couple great ones at Fenway.
Yeah.
I saw Dead & Company at Fenway. That was outstanding. I saw, back in the early 90s, the Dead, 3 separate years. I want to say 91, 92, and 94 would be my guess.
Little Mikey Felger.
I was just out of college or senior in college and then just out of college. That did 6-night runs at Boston Garden,
Damn.
3 nights in a row, 1 night off, 3 nights in a row. They did that 3 separate years, went to all 12 of them. Those were great. But really, the couple I see out at Fenway, there's a couple. There's the last Pearl Jam show at Fenway was unbelievable, and then I did see a Dead and Company show at Fenway that was just tremendous. Mostly because I had great seats. If you have bad seats at Fenway for a concert, it's fucking useless.
Yeah.
I reached in my pocket, bought some fancy seats, and they were good. They were good shows.
That's cool. So you didn't make the Drake and Migos concert at TD Garden a couple of years ago?
No,
I didn't catch that one.
Not my thing, young man.
Yeah,
Probably working late. Dan, I know you have a question. Let me get this one in real quick. Do you guys hang out outside of work?
A little bit, not a ton, but not because I don't like the guys or wouldn't do it. I don't try to hang out with anyone, Sophie. I don't, I'm gonna miss the pandemic because my beautiful, lovely wife, who I love to death,
sure,
is not fucking dragging me out on Saturday night to some dinner or something, where there's nothing to do, which I just want to say.
It's a silver. There's definitely some silver linings throughout this whole thing.
I don't want to go socialize. I don't want.
I'm with you, and I've been a fan of social distancing for quite some time. Not even specifically the last year. It's a great way to live.
Okay.
My bad.
I even enjoy wearing the mask because I don't even have to pretend to smile or laugh or show happiness.
We really shouldn't be sitting here and talking. You're a little too close, and we're not supposed to be, commingling anyway. So you move on, I move on.
Yeah, it's the ultimate. I thought the ultimate. My son's gonna be 2 in April. I thought that was the ultimate, like, get out of jail free card. Like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, we have the baby. We can't do anything. Sorry. Now it's that plus this. It's like I'm enjoying it so far.
I don't need the excuse personally. Like, if I don't want to go out, I say no. I'm not going to make it. Like I'm not a big white liar when it comes to the social stuff. It's like I'm just not. Right. I'm not going to fucking lie about that. Like,
that's fair.
I love you. I mean it. I don't want to go out.
Yeah.
But the problem is the wife.
Yeah.
Sarah is actually a nice person who likes people. So like, what am I fucking gonna do?
My wife.
Somehow you're both on TV.
No.
So last question. I know we're coming up on time. I'll let you get out of here. That's actually a pretty good segue. So another mutual friend of ours we forgot to mention earlier was Michael Hurley, who I know has been on your show here and there.
Love Hurley.
And speaking of kids and speaking of spending time with your kids, we were reminiscing with him last time about a little back and forth you guys had about paternity leave. I don't really even know what the question is here. Just bring that up, and I guess any thoughts looking back on that? Yeah. Or
I did go back and watch that segment recently.
Oh, really?
Because it was embedded in something I was reading, and it just happened to be there. It's like,
that's funny. Yeah.
And I hated the way I carried myself in that segment. I hated my tone. I was really angry and really attacked the poor kid.
Mm-hmm.
Which that part I regret because I don't need to be angry about the whole thing. I don't need to attack the kid. So that I regret. But the content of it,
I think both sides are fair.
I stand by it. It's like, someone's got to work. The world doesn't stop just because you had a kid, man. It's
100%.
Jesus.
And I remember him and I were talking on that episode because Sophie doesn't have any kids. I just have the one. And I mean, again, I don't work on the radio every day, but I was home for like at least a couple of weeks, and I felt bad the most about, like, I saw, and you have too, obviously you have kids, like how grueling that can be sometimes. It's like an infant, first weeks at home. It's a lot. I just felt bad being like to my wife, like, all right, like we've had this set schedule for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'll see you at 6. I'm going to work. Like, best of luck. Well, that's all really I felt the most bad about.
I don't mind long leaves.
Yeah.
I just think both parents.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Someone's got to stay home with the kid. That's fine. So the wife can go back to work. The guy can stay, or vice versa.
And we did try that too.
You have 12 people in the house usually. When you have kids, mothers everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like,
we tried that too. We did both go back to work for a couple of weeks and left him by himself, and that didn't work out at all. So then we went back to the one home and one at work thing. And
I think you throw
child services was up our ass.
Possible that you're on your own.
It was But yeah, no, that's it for me, Soapy. I'll let you I'll let you wrap up unless you have another quick one before we let Mike go.
I have one quick one, and then we'll let you go, Mike. Actually, one serious one and one not serious one. Okay. Quick, non-serious one. Can you explain the picture of you on Nantucket using napkins as a blanket?
Yeah.
What was going on there, and like why? Who took that picture? First of all,
I don't know. So that I don't know.
The crotch lady, the bulge lady.
Yeah, that's true.
I was covering the bulge. That, Soapy, is exactly as it appears. I was chilly. I was cold.
That's it.
We didn't have anything. I couldn't cover up with anything. There was nothing. No one had an extra sweater. No one had an extra thing. I was chilled. And so I put napkins over my legs to warm myself. That picture is what it was. That was a legit, honest look at Felger on a chilly Nantucket spring afternoon.
Only thing I got to recommend for that is you have to know that you being on a Nantucket, I know that you know that Portnoy is also a Nantucket guy.
Sure.
So, and that's where I saw the picture and I was like, come on, Mike. You had to know, like, someone was going to catch you out there.
I didn't know. Because it's not like, I'm like fucking Brad Pitt here. Like I got to do paparazzi. Usually I go out to lunch and no one takes my picture. It happens 9% of the time. So, yeah, I thought I didn't even think about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm chilly. I'm putting these napkins on my leg. And then never thinking that, so that is what it is. There's no story behind the story there.
All right. Fair answer, I guess. Last question for me. Do you think Celtics fans should want James Harden if he was to be available? Because I know Mazz does, and I think Mazz and Murray are wrong. I just legitimately
Jones
don't know your...
Mazz doesn't. Murray and Stu do.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Oh, so let me tell you. Fans should, and the team probably shouldn't. So I'll explain that. In that fans should want great players, and fans shouldn't think about the story behind the story necessarily. You got to think about talent and stars, and you should want it. And you shouldn't be so in love with your own players that no, we can't give up Marcus Smart for James. We can't give up Jaylen Brown for James Harden. You shouldn't be so in love with your own players. So fans should want it. It's the team that should be the sober, voice of reason and think about bigger picture things or intangible things or behind the scenes sort of things. And so the team should be reluctant and the fans should be gung ho. Except I think the fans fall in love with their own players too much. And so that's what's sort of disappointing. I think the Celtics fan has the least amount of edge of any fan. Most Celtics fans, I think, are no on James Harden. I think if you asked any Red Sox fan about one of the best baseball players or any Patriots fan about one of the best, do people say, oh, no, we can't have Antonio Brown here. No, we can't, mess with the young mix of player. No, they're like, give us fucking Antonio Brown. And the Red Sox would be like, give us, and I think Bruins fans would take any talent they could get their hands on. But a Celtics fan says, oh, we have to give up Marcus Smart or Peyton Pritchard? No, I don't want to do that. I love those young guys.
Peyton Pritchard, no chance.
So
I'm gonna trade Peyton Pritchard for Giannis.
So bugs me about Celtics fans.
Okay, let me make the argument for the Celtics fans that I have not heard out of the callers that have called into the show. And I think Dan agrees with me here. It's not that we don't want the talented player, but if that talented player isn't going to take us any further than the guys that we already have, I'd rather just root for the guys that I like than the guy that I know that I'm not going to like on a personal level. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'm just surprised why you would think you wouldn't go any farther with James Harden.
What's he done? He hasn't gotten to the finals.
Well, neither of you.
So that's why I don't think he would take us any further.
Well, okay. I guess that's fair.
And the guys that we have, so the guys that we have, Tatum is 21, 22. Some people still say that he's 19. I'm not sure. Jaylen Brown is 24. Those guys are still like them at the age of James Harden.
That's a different argument. Now you're not telling me you go any farther this year.
Well, those are the guys you said we would trade for James Harden.
No, Brown you're saying you'd rather have the long window with those guys. That's different than saying we wouldn't go any farther with James Harden this year. Next year.
Okay. Right. If I stick to that argument for this year, I don't see him coming in and just immediately James Harden is like the the consummate teammate. He comes in and just meshes to the system around him. What he'll do is he'll come in and mesh into a system where Brad Stevens is probably no longer the coach before the end of the season.
Yeah, he can't.
That's what he does.
That's the other thing. Brad Stevens can't coach him.
Well, probably not. Like that's a good point. Stevens has not done well with the veteran superstar. Even his guy, Gordon Hayward, and I think by the end, wasn't great. So that's a good point. I think you're still undergunned against Brooklyn, probably against the Bucks.
I think so too. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Harden would get you closer this year. No guarantee he'd get you closer this year, but you are giving up the next 10 years of Jaylen Brown.
What does James Harden? What does he do in Boston nightlife?
Oh, hates it. Oh, he couldn't.
That's what I mean. What is he going to do?
He'd get here, and inside of 2 months, he'd be like, "I fucking hate this."
I'd like another trade, please.
Yeah, totally.
Is there a 30-day free look on this trade?
Not his kind of place. No.
James Harden somehow just becomes a regular at the bar of West End Johnny. He's not even in the club. He's just sitting at the bar.
Yeah. No, we'll see. All right, Felgy, let's let you get out of here. But before we do, so Felger and Mazz 2 to 6 Monday through Friday on the Sports Hub. Anything else? What else you got going online? No Twitter, no nothing fun. Are you on Cameo? You should be on Cameo.
No, I'm not on Cameo.
You kill Cameo.
I'm not doing any of this. I'm not doing any of it. I should.
Murray kills Cameo.
Yeah, he's good. Jesus. He's funny. He's creative. I wouldn't be any good at it. I hate birthdays.
I beg to differ.
Wish you happy birthday. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, $2.99. You can get that message from Mike Felger. We'll just screen that and sell it for you and split the profits.
We'll hop on Cameo and just use that.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Okay, guys. Good luck with the podcast.
Appreciate it.